Okay guys, so a couple things that I got set up on my easel. Got a little plastic cup here filled with refined linseed oil. And I got some tissue paper here. And what else we got? I'm gonna go freestyle mode here for a sec. And I have my maul stick set up, and I'll explain why this is. When I'm applying my strokes, I got something to lean on. Not so important at the beginning stages of the painting because I work from left to right, top to bottom. And that way, when I'm painting across, everything to the right of me I know is dry because I haven't hit that area. So I can rest my palm on the surface. Now, that's the key on the first layer. Once you finish that first layer and you're all across the whole canvas, everything's got paint on it. And I know once the paint dries, you can kind of get your palm away with being on paint for a little bit if it's dry, you know, like I don't know, 15 seconds or so. But what happens is the longer your palm's on this canvas, the oils in your skin start to break down the oil that's on the canvas. And you're gonna start to get that on your hands, and it's gonna start to mark up the canvas. And yeah, you're just gonna get paint all over yourself. So it's just a good habit to have one of these. And the way I set it up was I took some nails and I just hammered them into this, so that way wherever I am I can kind of go hands-free and have it anywhere I really want it, you know. That way I can do this, someone's calling me, whatever, you know, hands-free, that's the point. So, and over here, we got the workstation. So what I did here is I applied a little bit of this burnt umber right here, and I got some brushes that I'm going to use. And essentially I'm just going to go attack this thing. I'll show you how I approach that. So now that I got the brush primed with some oil and I rub off all the excess oil, I apply a little bit of the paint to the brush, and I work very, 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 very slowly. Slowly trying to build up the values. So I'm going to start with this side. And just know at this point, what I've found is it doesn't have to be perfect the way you apply this stuff. I'm noticing right now that actually there's, just with the gleam on the canvas, there seems to be a lot of oil already applied to this. Now as you're watching this, you can already tell that I am very methodical with my approach. And I think that's a good thing. You don't want to jump into this stuff and just, you know, bang it out. That's not the point of painting. I think the whole point is to approach it with care, you know, and just as you go, you'll start to learn how to approach different areas at a faster rate. The point is you'll become much more efficient with your painting. And I think that only improves with time. It's very therapeutic. So as I'm painting this in, I can see this is much darker than here. And even if I want to apply more paint to this area, it doesn't really want to stick. Now here's the one thing with wood panel. When you're working on a wood panel, it's not really going to allow you to get those really thick coats like a canvas would. There's more friction on a canvas, so it allows you to hold more paint. So the key is with wood panel painting, you got to be much more subtle. So I always try to explain it to people who ask, how do you approach these paintings? It's like a chess match, if you will. When I'm playing an opponent and I'm looking at a move, I'm not just diving right in, you know, I'm strategically thinking, okay, what's going to be my next step? So I know, for instance, for this color right here, I don't need to make it that dark right off the bat. It's not going to happen. But what I do know is when this dries, I'm going to come back to this area and I'm going to slowly start to build it up. So the point is not to stress about getting every, you know, it's got to be perfect. I got to make it darker on this first pass. You're going to be coming back to that area multiple times. So just move on to another area. You know, the point is to get, on this early stage, get the paint on the canvas right now, honestly. I know you can't erase with paint, but the truth is you can always keep going over to a limited degree. So the point is, don't rush, you know, and enjoy this part of it. There's certain areas that I'm going to look at that I'm going to keep in mind. For instance, right here, it's dark here. That's that line that I delineated with the, or represented with that pencil marking. So I'll come in there, you know, and I'll just mark that, give myself a note. Like, okay, it's a little bit darker there, you know, stuff like that. Or I can see right here on the cheek, right here where this nose, we're getting some foreshortening. Not the easiest angle, but I know I marked right there with those markings, with the pencil right there. That might not be showing up, might add a little more paint. But there, so I know something's going on right there. And right here, same thing. A little bit darker right here. I don't even care about what color it is at this point. Honestly, I mean, value right now, it's the most important part of this part of the painting. Actually, value, in essence, when it comes to realism, is the most important aspect of any type of painting. Imagine this. You mess up on a color, right? But you're like, I don't know, it still looks right. You're probably wondering why that is. Well, the point is, you have people in the world that are actually colorblind, and they can't see. They mix up, well, they can see, but they mix up colors. So for instance, they'll mix up like a green with a red. You can get away with something looking realistic if you don't hit the color, but let's say somebody is value blind. They would be completely blind because there's no depth perception. Value establishes the depth of the form. It'll let you know where it is in space. So nailing the value is what's really going to help you achieve that realistic look. Now here, for instance, this is what I was talking about when you don't have a registration mark that might nip you in the butt later on when it comes to being realistic. I have the ear here that comes up like this, and I'm looking, it's about this height compared to the nose. Now, given what I'm doing right now is I'm doing like this measuring technique that I've learned through my years of drawing. There's a lot of debate about people that work strictly from photographs, and I do suggest learning how to draw. I've taken multiple drawing courses, and I know how to draw, so I can use the skills that I have from drawing and apply them where I need to when I'm painting. I would never suggest anyone to jump right into working from photos. Obviously, working from life, you'll learn so much. You'll be able to see much better. It's not going to hurt. So I'm just going to show you one little technique that I use, sight size, I believe it is called. So I'm looking here on the nose, and I see that's where the ear ends right there, this little marking. I'm gonna come over here, and I can see that right where the kind of ear bends at the top here, goes up like this little angle right here. We're probably gonna have to make a mark somewhere around there. Now, once again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but the better you line it up, the more realistic look it's gonna look. And also a smart thing is to do, actually, I should do this, is to adjust our drawing here, to have it lined up perfectly, so you don't really need to do the measuring. Let's see. Now guys, I promise I won't approach the painting instructions like this the whole way through unless you really want me to, but so you see now you got your drawing here, and it's really going to help you approach this painting because everything seems to be aligned. So now I'm going to look at this. I look straight line, the ears are aligned, right? And let's just go right up. Ears right there. That's where the line is, so that means I need to mark it right there. And the angle looks like that. This little ear part goes like this, so I'll take my brush, come right across. That's the angle we want. Boom. Put it right in. I felt like a little bit of a Bob Ross right there. Guys, it's really not the most difficult thing to do. The key to it, honestly, is just working at it. You know, like anything that you start out for the first time, it's gonna be difficult, you know, but the longer you work at it, the easier this stuff becomes. I get a lot of people that say, oh, I can only draw a stick figure, you know, and I'm like, well, how long have you been drawing for, you know? Usually the answer is not very long. And of course, how you can expect to draw something spectacular when you haven't been doing it for very long? So the point is, if there's a painting that you like, just or a drawing, I don't know, just pick up a pencil, start drawing, going online. There's a billion YouTube videos out there on drawing from life. You know, I mean, there's so many resources out there. There's no reason why you couldn't hop on and pick them up for free. Just get in there and practice. And like I said, this stuff it's very therapeutic. I mean, I could do this stuff all day, you know? I mean, I have a day where I'm like helping like a buyer trying to get a property when I'm doing my real estate, and it's like, it's stress. I could come back here, you know, and I could just sit and I could paint for all day. What I'm doing here is I got a fan brush. This really allows me to kind of smooth everything out. And that's one of the main ways you can really get this nice, smooth, realistic effect. It's coming back here and eliminating all those brush strokes. Now, as you can see, I don't know how long I've been talking with you guys on this video, but it's been quite a few minutes, maybe upwards of eight minutes, I'd say. This is how far I've gotten. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, shit, this dude takes forever. Yeah, that might be the case, but I'll tell you what, I know what I find acceptable in a painting. And if I rush, it's going to show in the work, and I don't care how long or how short it takes. If I don't like the end result, the whole painting honestly was like a waste to me. You know, I'll be frustrated with it. So there really honestly is no point in rushing this damn thing. When you get a painting that say, I don't know, let's say hypothetically it took you 4 months to do. You know, average, that's kind of what I like to work on with a painting, believe it or not, 4 months. I've worked longer than that on a painting. You know, this stuff takes a long time, but the point is, if you have done your work, you took your time, and you know in your heart, man, I worked my butt off for this thing, you know, then you don't care how long it took. You know you put your 100% in there and you got great results out of it because you took your time. So what's the point in the end of rushing? There isn't any. And you shouldn't when it comes to being an artist. You know, and of course, unless there's some type of deadline that you need to hit. But if this is like, you know, some type of thing you want to do in your leisure, you know, then don't rush, because I'm telling you, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass, guys. It really, really, really will. I don't know how many times I've done a painting where I notice I started to rush a little bit, And there are those days that you're painting and you're like, I can't do it. Sometimes put the brush down, put the easel aside, you know, whatever you need to do, and take a break. Take a 15, take a 20, take an hour, or I don't know, don't even paint that day. Some days you're gonna be better than others, a given, you know? I mean, right now I'm actually trying to get comfortable in front of the camera. This is the first lesson I've taught, this is the first time I've actually painted while on video. So, I mean, this is gonna be a new journey for me and for the both of us, but, you know, I'm gonna give it a go. So I don't know how much longer you guys want me to talk. I could talk honestly forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of move on in this painting and keep my mouth shut. If I feel like I'm going to approach a part that I really want you guys to talk, that I really want you guys to know about, I'll say something. For the most part, I'm just going to kind of let you guys watch me paint this sucker. So I hope you guys enjoyed what I was telling you, and just kind of keep your eyes glued. At least I'll try to do my best to keep quiet. I can't promise that. You're watching me here, just try to figure out these values. So I know there's a little mark on the cheek right there, so I'm just gonna mark that right in there, right? And looks like it's going right up, so I'm just gonna kind of follow that line to there, right? The good thing is, guys, when you're painting, step back. Step back away from the painting so you can kind of see what's going on. Sometimes we get way, way, way too caught up in the fine details. You looking at a painting like this isn't going to be the same if you're looking at it 10 feet away. I mean, you need to look at a bigger picture. That way you can make measurements, you know, and deduct, wow, this is going to be way, 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 way darker, you know? You're going to only be able to see that, honestly, guys, as if you're far away. So that's why I see a lot of people who's just starting out to paint. They're painting like this. What the hell are you doing? You don't need to be that close. I mean, I got brushes, guys, that are this long. That's so I can kind of see, you know, marking areas that I need to be darker, you know. Actually, I was watching a video of a guy using his brush that I'd never seen before. He puts his hand like here and he rests it on his elbow. I don't know if you guys can see that, to keep a very straight line. But now we got these maul sticks, so there's no point. But what I would like to do, or what I usually like to do, is I like to have this long stick here. And when I can't really tell what's going on with the image, I'm going to step back and I'm going to be like, okay, where is this dot on the dog, right? If I'm this close, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to see that. But if I step back, you know, and I'm like 3 feet away and I'm looking right there, like, okay, so I'm looking at this dot here. It actually looks like it's right center with the middle of that eye. So I know this is pretty much the center of the eye right there. So it's got to be somewhere around here, right? Where the muzzle is. And I know if I'm looking, that's the vertical measurement. Where does it move horizontally? So it's got to be somewhere around there. So I know this is the horizontal marking. That's for the center of the eye. Guys, it's got to be somewhere like right around there, right? I wouldn't be able to tell that if I was up this close. That's why it's always good to have some space. Unfortunately, we all don't have that luxury, but for those that do, take advantage of it. And if you don't, paint for a little bit, and every 5 minutes, take a step back. So I know this eye area is really dark, so I'm just going to kind of go in and just make a note. Damn, I miss Bob Ross. That guy was so awesome. Shit. I remember coming home from school and listening to that dude just go off about his bushes. What a good dude, you know? It's that guy. Super, super talented. Now he's almost kind of like, you wouldn't call it a meme, but he's definitely, I mean, he was just a character, but super, super talented. Can never knock that guy. Just did amazing, amazing, amazing work. Because the one thing also about this underpainting here is as you start starting to see it develop. Like I said, it's just getting the likeness. I was talking about that before. And if you watch how I use this brush, guys, I'm not like stiff. When I'm painting, my hand is loose, guys. It's this loose when I'm doing this. So there's give and take. So when I come down, my brush is at an angle like this. Like say this is kind of a, imagine if this was the canvas right here. My brush is coming down like this, and when I come up, it's like that. Very, very soft. Not like this. That, like that. Super, super soft. So what I'm doing here is I'm barely touching the paint. What it's doing is it's just eliminating the brush strokes, but maintaining, I guess what you call it, the density. So the thickness is staying there, but the brush strokes are being removed. So you're seeing it's starting to come. The value is starting to develop. And guys, that's what you want, right? And just trust in the layers. That's one of the, that's when I honestly started to notice my work shift as an artist, was when I started to believe that I didn't have to achieve the desired effect in the first pass. A lot of beginner artists do that. They jump right in, you know, and they paint like this wet on wet application, and they feel like they need to finish the painting in that layer. And there's a lot of artists that do that, you know, and they do fantastic work. And I'm not knocking it. I think that's amazing. Everyone's got their own style, you know, but for me, I know what I like to achieve. I like to achieve this subtle buildup, you know, and that's only, that's only the, done by using subtle layers. So right now we have a very interesting thing going on here. There's a lot of noise here. I'm not gonna worry about all that detail. Like, what's the point of doing that all right now? So I know it's a little bit darker there, so I'm just gonna make a note of that. I know this right here, we got a little dark dot right there, so I marked that in my registration drawing, and I'm gonna leave that there, and I know it starts to kind of go up and it follows the neckline of the dog. Guys, that's all you need to do. And note that the more information you guys put down on this canvas, the clearer the image is going to be, and the easier it's going to be to figure out where your markings need to go on the painting. I hope I explained that the best way. But I mean, like before, the image looked like this. You couldn't see shit. You know, you were just, I just do basically put of any type of brush stroke down, and you're going to start to see areas that are going to start to pop to you. Like if you've ever been doing like a painting or a drawing, right, and something's just not working out with the painting, and all of a sudden you have one of those aha moments, and you're like, what? Like where was that? It's that one brush stroke or one pencil stroke that makes the image come alive. You know, so we're continually just building upon what we're working on. There's a couple amazing artists out there that you should definitely follow. Have fantastic videos, like murder my stuff. You know, I mean, this is my first one, so I'm gonna try to give myself some credit. But you have artists like John David Casson. He does a lot of wet on wet work. I don't believe he uses any glazing whatsoever, but obviously, I mean, the guy's a living master, so he does whatever he needs to do. But I mean, his work is fantastic. You know, he just honestly nails the hue, the value, and the chroma of the image. And guys, I know I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but when it comes to painting and making something look realistic, at the end of the day, the most important thing is the hue, the color, the value of the color, and the chroma of the color. That's really, really it.